Here with us we have our chief observer, Mr. Edward Kukan, who is going to present the statement.
Thank you very much. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. We appreciate your coming and your interest. Concerning the Uganda 2016 elections, as seen by the European Union Election Observation Mission, I would like to start saying that voters actively participated in the campaign events and expressed a remarkable determination while waiting for the long hours on the election day to cast their ballots. However, the national resistance movement's domination of the political landscape distorted the fairness of the campaign, and state actors created an intimidating atmosphere for both voters and candidates, which continued in the days immediately following the elections. I saw myself the remarkable commitment of Ugandans to participate in their electoral process. Regrettably, the Electoral Commission failed to communicate effectively steps that would have been needed to overcome growing tensions caused by the markedly delayed delivery of the voting material. Moreover, the decision to block access to social media on election day added to overall uncertainty and unreasonably constrained freedom of expression and the access to information. The EU observers continue to scrutinize the tallying process. In only 10 of 42 tally centers observed by our observers, district returning officer distributed printouts of the sub-county results broken down to polling station level. That is a key feature enhancing transparency. Our people are still there working and observing. The tallying process in the majority of cases is described as slow yet calm. However, the environment outside district rally centers is tense, with tear gas being used by police in several locations. Yesterday, while the National Tally Center was announcing its preliminary results of the presidential polls, and the political parties were still following tallying and collecting data from their agents in the field, the police stormed FDC's party headquarters using tear gas and arrested the flag bearer Dr. Chizap, the CJ, and the party leadership. This arbitrary use of force by police is unacceptable. We continue to closely follow the unfolding situation, and whether Uganda's international commitments, including on freedom of expression and the right of information, are respected. This is of particular concern since the European Union Election Observation Mission, in its preliminary statement, notes that the pre-election campaign was marked by a polarized discourse and intimidating atmosphere, which was mainly created by the state actors and which affected both voters and candidates. On the other side, and I want to emphasize it, the first time in Uganda political history, a presidential debate between all, I repeat, all candidates has taken place. This indisputably contributed to overall pluralism and for the first time enabled the electorate to directly compare candidates while their manifestos were subject to critical assessment. The EU Election Observation Mission was established on 28th of December last year, following an invitation from the government of Uganda. The EU Election Observation Mission findings are based on the information submitted by 137 observers deployed across the country. The mission will continue to observe post-electoral developments and will produce a comprehensive final report with a detailed evaluation and a set of recommendations in about 2 months' time toward the end of April. Now let me say a few more words about our findings. Concerning the Electoral Commission, according to our assessment, the Electoral Commission lacks independence, transparency, and the trust of the stakeholders. It narrowly interpreted its mandate by limiting it to the organization of the technical aspects of the elections. Moreover, the Commission lacked transparency in its decision and failed to inform the voters and contestants on key elements of the electoral process in a timely and comprehensive manner. Vibrant campaign events attracted large crowds across the country and were generally peaceful. The candidates conducted some 900 campaign events, largely following the Electoral Commission's harmonized schedule, and made considerable efforts to reach out to the electorate. Intimidation and harassment of opposition by police and law enforcement bodies, as well as arrest of supporters and voters, were reported from more than 20 districts. Opposition candidates' ability to campaign freely was restricted on several instances during the campaign period. This particularly affected Forum for Democratic Change and the Democratic Alliance Go Forward. In the running up to the elections, the large-scale nationwide recruitment of crime preventers acting outside the clear legal framework was broadly perceived as adding to an intimidating pre-electoral atmosphere. Concerning the level playing field, there are no legal measures to ensure a level playing field in the campaign. Access to funds, including those attached to the President's office, as permitted by the law, led to the disproportionate expenditure on behalf of the ruling party and incumbent. While legislation contains provisions on reporting and disclosure of political finance, they are neither followed by parties or candidates nor enforced by the Electoral Commission. A small number of outspoken commercial media offered a pluralistic discourse. As I already mentioned, the live presidential debate has its highlights. However, the overall reporting environment was conducive to self-censorship. State actors interfered with local radio station programming. Reports on violation of freedom of expression were received from more than 15 districts, including on the harassment and assault of journalists. Thus, the variety of information available across the media was constrained, limiting voters' ability to make an informed choice. The new voter register compiled from the National Identification Register was introduced as an effort to achieve inclusiveness and accuracy. However, establishing the cut-off date of 11 May 2015 for inclusion in the voter register, disenfranchise potential voters who turn 18 after this date. Few words about the civil society. Civil society displayed a commendable commitment to the democratic process. It proposed the Citizens' Compact document, proposing necessary amendments for the conduct of democratic elections, inter alia, independence of the electoral administration and a legal framework granting a level playing field for all contestants. The civil society organizations also thoroughly scrutinized the pre-electoral environment, including candidates' campaign expenditures and the conduct of media, and deployed a large number of observers on the election day. Ladies and gentlemen, these are my remarks. I don't have ambitions to say that I have covered all the issues. This is preliminary statement, as I already mentioned in the beginning. We are going to produce final comprehensive report where you will find all the answers to all your questions, and plus it will include also recommendations on what we think the electoral process could be improved in your country. And thank you for your attention.